Welcome to the big show.
He could go all the way. Oh, America, are you serious? It is showtime, baby. Here we go. Slam, jam, slam, bam. It's for this. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. Move it. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. Give it up, go.
Welcome to the big show. Simply wake up.
And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Cold War Radio, live on our home base, WAAR. We are America Radio, your number one source for streaming political and government talk anywhere. Also streaming on weareamericaradio.com/live. I'm Hutch Bailey Jr., deep down in the bunker in my Smith & Wesson studio in the city of Pittsburgh. Please follow me on Spreaker, like the Facebook page, facebook.com/Cold War Radio, 2 A's in war, WAAR. You can catch the show on Blueberry, Roku, YouTube, on iHeartRadio. There is a Cold War Radio app that is free in your app store, whether you have a Android or an iPhone. The email is scrtv@live.com, and the call-in line 412-567-2449. Say hello to my beautiful East German call screener. The chat room is up on Spreaker. Go to steelcityresistance.blogspot.com. You can catch the link there. If you're not in there already, it's the place to be where all the cool kids are. You can catch the show notes links there. If you can help, hit the donate button on the website. Even more importantly, become a CWR patron, a Cold War Radio patron. That way you can help us out a little bit every month if you can possibly handle it. If you want to go snail mail, I'm Hutch Bailey Jr. at P.O. Box 96022, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, 15226. That's P.O. Box, Hutch Bailey Jr., P.O. Box 96022, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, 15226. And before we get started, I happened to go to the post office box today, and I would like to thank Patricia from San Antone. How awesome to introduce, and you probably listen or watch on RSBN because he gave me, we were able to introduce Vito Corleone to the studio for the viewers on RSBN. So thank you very much, Patricia. Very nice, especially because Alphonse had to get sent up the river. He's not going to be with us for a while. He'll be back, but he's in Mob Boss College, upstate somewhere. I'd also like to thank S. Jacobs from Rock Falls, Illinois, for a beautiful gift of, let's get technical because it deserves it. She sent me a Tabac Special Toro Dolce fine cigar and 10 swag black lavish sticks. Very healthy, looks like about a 50, man. It's a big round. But I will be enjoying them in the Bird's Eye View Lounge adjacent to the studio later. And, man, 10 of them. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. It put a smile on my face when I opened that box. Thank you very much. Now, I have to go somewhere now, ladies and gentlemen. It's not really scripted, and maybe people outside of the Pittsburgh area won't understand this, but I think you will. We had two very untimely deaths in Pittsburgh this week. We had one of the Rooney brothers, owner of the Steelers, passed away, an icon in Pittsburgh sports history. And we had another man go. I want to check something real quick just to make sure that I get this correct because it's a very, it's a nerve. It hits a nerve with locals, and I don't want to mess this up. So I am going to do this. Mr. Dan Rooney passed away in his 90s, but also, and the city went ballistic. Barack Obama came to the funeral. I think I heard something about Kerry being there. Roads closed down and just on the news every minute of every hour since it happened. And I don't begrudge the city of that at all. What I do begrudge them is in the same time, Mr. Henry Hillman also passed away, a man that did far more for Pittsburgh than anything that ever came out of the Steelers. And that's not to take anything away from Dan Rooney. And I know with some people this isn't going to be popular, but I don't care. So I'm going to do it in memoriam of Henry Hillman, 1918 to 2017. This is by Maxwell King, the president and CEO of the Pittsburgh Foundation. Henry Hillman was adventurous as an entrepreneur and a genius in the development of his business interests and his philanthropy, but he kept a low-key, unpretentious profile in the same mold as Dan Rooney and Fred Rogers, and often ceded the public spotlight to his wife, Elsie Hillman. The two of them, Elsie died in 2015, provided an extraordinary level of leadership for their community. And I mean, it goes on with all kind of accolades, but success for the Hillmans, though, was measured most in the wealth being reinvested in the community to enable others to do well. And I mean, this was long before it was fashionable to do this in the field. Henry treated charitable opportunities as a venture investor looking at a business opportunity. He placed very big bets, and his money went on the table only after painstaking investigation and exhaustive research. He was a believer in the power of science, especially in the areas of medicine and technology, and he trusted local academic institutions, including the University of Pittsburgh Medical Center, to deliver on those investments. It's remarkable to me that well into his 90s, whether focused on business, philanthropy, or politics, Henry was a committed futurist. And at a dinner, let's just say Henry would have been lauded for leading it, but instead he was at 96 asking questions about what was coming around the bend. Where will Pittsburgh be in the next decade with transportation? What about housing? What's the next technology opportunity? Asked the man, knowing for reporting out the latest developments from his Apple Watch or his iPad. All of the questions reveal something else that Henry had to a remarkable degree. He was a powerful intellectual. He loved to ponder. He was a thinker who enjoyed drinking from a fire hose of information and data, and then making sense of it all with the most powerful of intellects. Let me get down to some of his accomplishments. He would analyze and strategize, then use it to best his peers in picking opportunities for investment. He certainly did it in philanthropy. While many others scattered their charitable dollars across scores of causes, Henry placed big wagers, making $10 million investment in the Hillman Cancer Center, or making multi-million-dollar technology plays at UPMC or Carnegie Mellon University or the University of Pittsburgh. Henry Hillman was always thinking, always focused on the future, and his intellect was always relentlessly ranging around the firmament looking for opportunities to help strengthen and enrich the community he loved, as well as his businesses. He was a quintessential cerebral American philanthropist, and all of Pittsburgh is so much better for it. And I just wanted to say that. I know most of you never even heard of Henry Hillman, but he built libraries around here, like they said, cancer centers, just a bulwark in the community, and barely a word in the local media, hardly anything. I mean, a little mention here and there, but it's all football all the time around here, and sometimes that pisses me off. But don't get me wrong, I love the Steelers, but sometimes when you put a Rooney up against this guy, they ought to at least get equal billing. But that's just me. My wife's tired of me saying it, so that's the end of that. God bless the Hillman family, and God rest your soul, Henry. Now, on a lighter note or a heavier note, Richard Simmons is hospitalized, battling severe indigestion. Don't ask me why I put that in there. I just had to. I saw it, and I figured somebody's going to get a chuckle out of that. What happened to that guy, man? He got all. I mean, he was always weird, but like toward the end, isn't it toward the end with him? 412-567-2449. Richard Simmons, hospitalized with severe indigestion. And Maxine Waters, ladies and gentlemen, claims that she never called for impeachment. Can these people get any more stupid? I mean, I've reported it on here. I've played tape of it. You've seen tape of it everywhere. Yet she comes out and nobody calls her on it. I mean, they'll let her go right through. Nobody's going to call her on it. You know, you've got Russian bombers flying near Alaska where the Air Force had to scramble jets. So make no mistake about it. We're in some John F. Kennedy times right now. And the left in this country has disengaged itself from being a part of the Republic. Have you listened to the DNC chairman? This Perez guy? This guy can't even get on a microphone without cursing. He's a scumbag, man. He's a hood rat. And I'm glad the Democrats put him up there. How long is it going to be until some of you American Democrats realize the pigs that you're sleeping with? How long is it going to be? How far along on the road are you going to go with these people? You've got teachers wearing tuck frump shirts in class. Grade school teachers or middle school, whatever. How long are you people going to stay on the ride? Because this isn't going to end well. You know that 35% of Americans pay, and I'm talking about adults, 35% pay no income tax. Despite record collections. We've had record collections for like consecutive years rather, for a long time. And 35% of the people, to me, those 35% of people who do not pay taxes should not be able to vote. They should not be able to determine who the tax policy makers are. That is a recipe for suicide. And I'm tired of the equality and the whole 9 yards of that. Change the tax code then. Make it a flat tax that everybody pays tax. Change the tax code. You can't have people that don't pay taxes. Not that many. Now, something that's going on in military technology, I'm surprised it took so long. I mean, you had Ronald Reagan, and they mocked him just like they're going to mock this new thing of a paper says that the USA is mulling shooting down North Korea missile tests. Well, those of you that remember Ronald Reagan, he had a thing called Star Wars. That was the same idea, but it was for all missiles. And the Democrats made a fool out of him. Oh, they said he was such a dunce it could never work. It was just a waste of billions of dollars. And then after a while, the Israeli military, basically, well, we started with the Patriot, but they had the dome, the Iron Dome or whatever that's called, that was shooting them down when Hamas was firing them at them. It works. There's no question about it. It's just having the will to go through with it. Half the time you think the Democrats want them to hit us. Now you got the people in the deep state are still embedded in the government. This is an exclusive on Breitbart, and if you go on Breitbart.com, you can hear an audio clip of a gentleman who I'm sure will be mentioned in this article that's speaking about this. But officials defy Trump's promises, 40 miles of border ordered unpatrolled. This is from Breitbart, Texas, and Brandon Darby and Ildefonso Ortiz. U.S. Border Patrol agents are once again sounding the alarm about miles of border being left wide open and unsecured. Breitbart, Texas exclusively obtained a document. They even write it down. A document showing Havre Sector Border Patrol manager knowingly issuing orders to leave 40 miles of Montana border open and unpatrolled. Obama holdovers in the Customs and Border Protection, CBP, agency are continuing with the same careless disregard in the Trump administration that they did under former President Obama, according to Border Patrol agents. Breitbart, Texas, has the specific order that was given to the agents signed by the Obama holdover manager. The order demands that the agents on the northern border stay within one assigned zone. I couldn't believe this when I read this. One assigned zone, and are not to leave that zone to patrol other zones that the agents have historically patrolled, even though there are no agents assigned to patrol the other zones. The Havre sector has 6 Border Patrol stations, and the order applies to one of these stations consisting of 6 zones. A total of 60 linear miles are covered by the one Border Patrol station in question, yet agents say that this only allows them to patrol 20 of the 60 miles of the border. When Breitbart, Texas asked multiple border patrol, listen to this. This is the part where this is where you just want to reach out and grab somebody and say, hey, you got to go do something about this. If you live in Texas, and I know at least one person does, I know Patricia does, call somebody. When Breitbart, Texas asked multiple Border Patrol agents about motives for the manager leaving such a vast swath of border unpatrolled, the agents felt that it was twofold. They blamed previous Obama-era policies, and they also believed that widespread corruption exists within the Havre sector's upper management. Well, I say get some cells ready, and we have to start turning our law enforcement capability toward the crime. And this is most absolutely treasonous. Let's continue a little more because it gets a little more hairy. One of the Border Patrol agents who was present when the manager gave the order spoke to Breitbart, Texas on the condition of anonymity and said criminal cartels exploit our weaknesses on a daily basis, and they're going to certainly exploit such a large area of open and unpatrolled border. Another agent from the station told us on the same condition, from a border security standpoint, this directive makes no sense, but there has to be a reason, so I don't think it's a far stretch to conclude it's due to corruption. And yet another agent from the station speaking to us on the same condition said this order has to be coming from the sector chief and deputy chief patrol agents. They, along with the station's patrol agent in charge and deputy patrol agent in charge, need to be need to be immediately reassigned until a full and thorough investigation can be done into this order. No, they need to be detained or put on unpaid leave, sacrificing their passports. Jeez, oh man, reassigned. Border Patrol agent Brandon Judd, president of the National Border Patrol Council, was appalled when he heard of this incident from his agents, thereby confirming to Breitbart Texas the authenticity of the other agents' concerns. He told Breitbart Texas that there have been more complaints filed out of the Havre sector than any other sector within recent years. Unfortunately, he says, the agency has justified all of the managers' actions. Agent Judd said anytime you have managers investigating other managers, the result is always no cause of wrongdoing found. How true that is. Agent Judd said there must be accountability from the top down. I believe Secretary Kelly's constant praise of former Secretary Jay Johnson is an endorsement of his open border policies. There are so many good managers in the Border Patrol, but when Secretary Kelly condones his predecessor's failures, he opens the door for the bad managers to act like this and bring shame on the entire organization. Agent Judd continued, President Trump is the president of the common citizen and the choice of the rank-and-file Border Patrol agents. Unfortunately, there are those highly paid career managers who want to believe they're above everyone else, up to and including the President of the United States. Agent Judd said the rank-and-file Border Patrol agents have spoken with the managers at the station in question until they were blue in the face, all to no avail. Managers who sit behind a desk and never patrol the border should never dictate operations and policies. Otherwise, this is what you get. You can catch the rest of that on the show notes links page. But what a story. I mean, this is something when you have and this is pervasive. It's not just at the Border Patrol by any means. I mean, this is in every agency, including the military. I mean, you know, the things that are going on. I mean, our troops and our sailors, soldiers, Marines, and airmen, they're all still being brainwashed. You know, they're all still getting fed out of the same social justice bowl. I mean, they're spending more time on social justice experiments than they are in their core qualities. It's a shame. I hope it changes. I really do. It's got to change. I mean, these people, they learn more about sexuality than they do about ballistics, believe me. You know, that's just the way it is. So I don't know. I don't know how it's going to go. I'm trying to see if I want to do this. Yeah, let's get into this. We got some trouble in the north. You talk about some stupid soldiers. North Korean soldiers face death penalty for mocking Kim Jong-Un. Also from Breitbart by John Hayward, a group of North Korean soldiers and officers has made the unsurprising discovery that dictator Kim Jong-un does not have a sense of humor. After slandering the dictator with jokes that compared him to a mental patient and a small child, troops from the 2nd Army Corps have been arrested and investigated, 2 steps which usually occur in that order in North Korea. A source told Radio Free Asia they will be severely punished, possibly with the death penalty. Another jest reported by UPI mocks Kim Jong-un as Kim squared because he is crazier than his father, Kim Jong-il. He's crazier than his father, Kim Jong-il, and grandfather, Kim Il-sung, combined, hence Kim squared. That one probably gets bonus points in the North Korean justice system for mocking the entire ruling family at once. The story prompts interest beyond the immediate "what were these guys thinking" reaction, because UPI reports there are signs of Kim's growing unpopularity across the country. Other military units are growing nervous about the possibility of scapegoating or loyalty purges. Leaflets calling for Kim's overthrow were found in one city, while anti-Kim graffiti was sprayed across buildings in another. According to the Christian Post, the graffiti called for Kim Jong-Un to be punished as an enemy of the people. The government responded by declaring, "Those who try to challenge the sun, S-U-N, will never survive." So I don't know how smart that was of the troops, but maybe there is some unrest among the troops. I know they're one of the few people that eat in North Korea. Maybe they have family that they're watching wither away to nothing. Anyway, you're listening to Cold War Radio, ladies and gentlemen, on We Are America Radio on a Tuesday evening. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back. This is Cold War Radio on We Are America Radio, WAAR.
Come alive. Come alive. You're in the Pepsi generation. Drink light, drink great, drink right, up to date.
Young taste, young drive, young pace. Come alive.
Come alive. Come alive. You're in the Pepsi generation.
You get a real cold welcome with sparkling cold Pepsi-Cola. The one with a taste. Big, bold, beautiful taste that gives your thirst a dousing. Gives you an inviting lift every time. Come on, treat your thirst to a Pepsi. A whole generation does.
Come alive. You're in the Pepsi generation. You're in the Pepsi generation.
Why, some say the moon. Why choose this as our goal? And they may well ask, why climb the highest mountain? Why 35 years ago fly the Atlantic? Why does Rice play Texas? We choose to go to the moon. We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard. Because that goal will serve to organize and measure the best of our energies and skills. Because that challenge is one that we're willing to accept, one we are unwilling to postpone, and one we intend to win, and the others too. We shall send to the moon 240,000 miles away from the control station in Houston, a giant rocket more than 300 feet tall, the length of this football field, made of new metal alloys, some of which have not yet been invented, capable of standing heat and stresses several times more than have ever been experienced, fitted together with a precision better than the finest watch, carrying all the equipment needed for propulsion, guidance, control, communications, food, and survival on an untried mission to an unknown celestial body and then return it safely to Earth, re-entering the atmosphere at speeds of over 25,000 miles per hour, causing heat about half that on the temperature of the sun, almost as hot as it is here today, and do all this, and do all this, and do it right, and do it first before this dictator's out, then we must be bold.
The President of the United States takes pleasure in presenting the Silver Star Medal to Octavio Nunez, Staff Sergeant, United States Army, for conspicuous gallantry and intrepidity in action against the enemy while serving with the 1st Battalion, 26th Infantry Regiment, 2nd Brigade Combat Team, 1st Infantry Division, in combat action against enemy forces in support of Operation Iraqi Freedom on 14 May 2007 in Iraq. On that date, Staff Sergeant Nunez was part of a truck convoy in combat patrol in the Adamaya neighborhood of northeast Baghdad. Although the convoy was struck by one improvised explosive device, the damage was slight and the patrol continued. Later in the day, a second IED struck the second truck in the convoy, causing severe damage, halting the convoy and wounding the soldiers in that vehicle. Riding in the lead vehicle in the convoy and despite a hail of enemy fire on the entire convoy, Staff Sergeant Nunez ran toward the flaming vehicle where he encountered one of his comrades who was engulfed in flames. He tackled the burning soldier to the ground and extinguished the flames, and then, ignoring the enemy small arms fire, he dragged him to the relative cover of a nearby vehicle. Returning to the burning vehicle, Staff Sergeant Nunez began to evacuate another wounded soldier whose shattered legs and burns made moving him difficult. Under attack from all sides, including the ammunition exploding inside the burning vehicle, Staff Sergeant Nunez not only pulled him to cover, but lifted the much heavier man onto the truck. Yet a third time, Staff Sergeant Nunez attempted to race to the truck to search for any other wounded, but by now, the flames were too intense and he was restrained by his lieutenant. Staff Sergeant Nunez's gallant actions, courageous leadership, and willful risk of his own life saved the lives of 2 severely wounded soldiers. Staff Sergeant Nunez, job well done, and God bless America.
My name is Ronald Reagan. Last year, the contributions of 16 million Americans to the crusade for freedom made possible the World Freedom Bell, symbol of hope and freedom to the communist-dominated peoples of Eastern Europe, and built this powerful 135,000-watt Radio Free Europe transmitter in Western Germany. This station daily pierces the Iron Curtain with the truth, answering the lies of the Kremlin and bringing a message of hope to millions trapped behind the Iron Curtain. Grateful letters from listeners smuggled past the secret police express thanks to Radio Free Europe for identifying communist quislings and informers by name. The Crusade for Freedom is your chance and mine to fight communism. Join now by sending your contributions to General Clay, Crusade for Freedom, Empire State Building, New York City. Or join in your local community.
In the background was the growing struggle between 2 great powers to shape the post-war world. Soviet Russia was expansively stabbing westward, knifing into nations left empty by war. On orders from the Kremlin, Russia had launched one of history's most drastic political, moral, and economic wars, a Cold War. The United States was obliged to help Europe safeguard its traditional freedoms and the independence of its nations. Gone was the spirit of wartime unity that reached its peak on that historic afternoon in April '45 at the Elbe River in Germany. Here, 2 worlds actually met, but this coalition was to be torn asunder. Already an Iron Curtain had dropped around Poland, Hungary, Yugoslavia, Bulgaria.
Ah, but this is Europe, you say. But let's see what can happen elsewhere in, say, the small town of Mosinee, Wisconsin. Peaceful, isn't it? But the red truncheon falls and the chief of police is hustled off to jail. Next, public utilities are seized by fifth colonists. Watch carefully what happens to an editor who operates under a free press. He goes to jail, too, and his newspaper is confiscated. Exit freedom of thought. Yes, this is life under the Soviet form of government. The little town of Mosinee made this experiment for 24 hours, a public service to all America. It can't happen here, Well, this is what it looks like, if it should.
Cold War Radio, ladies and gentlemen, here on We Are America Radio, 412-567-2449. If you'd like to call the program, let's go to Fresno. A gunman who randomly killed 3 men screamed Allahu Akbar, police say. This is from ABC7.com, Fresno, California, KABC. A gunman who walked through Fresno randomly shooting and killing 3 men screamed Allahu Akbar while being taken into custody, according to authorities. Fresno Police Chief Jerry Dyer said 39-year-old Corey Ali Muhammad first opened fire on a passenger inside a PG&E truck in a 300 block of North Van Ness Boulevard about 10:45 a.m. The driver of the truck, who was not struck, drove the victim to the Fresno Police Department's headquarters in downtown Fresno and alerted officers the victim succumbed to his injuries. Authorities said Muhammad walked westbound and encountered another man and opened fire on him. Officials said the shots missed. He then walked to Fulton Street, where he came across a man and opened fire, killing him. According to police, Muhammad continued walking to Catholic Charities, where he encountered a man in the parking lot and killed him, authorities said. In all, Dreyer said 16 shots were fired within 1 minute at 4 different locations. Officers were able to find Muhammad and take him into custody. While Muhammad was being arrested, Dyer said he yelled out Allahu Akbar. Listen to this part. Muhammad was wanted in connection with a shooting death at a Motel 6 that occurred last week, according to police. Authorities take 39-year-old Corey Ali Muhammad, the man suspected of randomly shooting and killing 3 men in Fresno on Tuesday, April 18th, 2017. Authorities, and we already said that, Muhammad, who police said has a prior criminal history, had previously posted to Facebook that he didn't like white people and expressed several anti-government sentiments, Dyer said. All the victims who were randomly targeted were white, which means ABC 7, they were not randomly targeted. Officials were still working to identify the victims. Dyer said the FBI had been notified and the ATF would also be contacted. While Muhammad had been taken into custody, Dyer said a gun had not been recovered, though the suspect had 357 caliber ammunition on him. Dyer said it was the same type of ammunition used in the murder at the Motel 6. Muhammad will be booked for murder and attempted murder, authorities said. Dyer indicated it was still too early to know if the shootings were an act of terrorism. Well, look, let's talk about this. The shootings were an act of terrorism, regardless of whether it was Muslim terrorism. If he's a black guy out with a gun hunting down white people, that's terrorism, and they should have shot him on the spot. That being said, this is another guy that they knew about. What is it with these law enforcement agencies? Are they that bad that a guy gets murdered, they know who murdered him, and he comes around the next week and opens fire? Didn't we used to catch these people? Don't we have more technology than we ever had before? And Democrat Party that enabled Barack Obama and his racist pile of puke to put this out there, this was never like this. It hasn't been like this in decades, where black people are running around hating white people. And that's the only way it is. It's not white people doing the same. It's black people running around hating white people. Look up Colin Flaherty. I'm tired of this. This has got to end. This has got to end. People like Al Sharpton got to be put away. They got to be put away, and reason voices of reason, need to be elevated. There are so many good people out there that happen to be black, but they're Americans first. These scumbags got to go. I'm tired of this. I really am. This is to the point where these people are evil and they're misguided and they're egged on by their government in some fictitious thought process that these people are doing something good for them when all they're doing is keeping them in slavery. Obama's a millionaire, you dumbass. You think he hangs up out in the hood? He doesn't hang out in the hood. He eats caviar, you idiots. He doesn't even hang with black people. Son of a gun. I'm telling you. If I wasn't getting ready to go on the radio, I'd go off. Anyway. The FBI is investigating radical terrorists in all 50 states as threats hit peak. Well, maybe with General Kelly and Jeff Sessions, maybe we can start. Can we fire Comey, please? Can we fire Comey? Fire Comey. Put somebody else in there. Get the best field agent you have out of Minnesota. No, that's dominated by Somalis. They let that happen. Get him from somewhere beside New York and out of D.C. Nobody from that area, nobody that's ever even been in that area. Get a good special agent and put him in charge of the FBI. And let's go out to these 50 states, and everybody that's on any damn list, pick them up. Pick them up and incarcerate them. Make new jails. As a matter of fact, send them to Gitmo. That's where this guy ought to go. He's not even going to get charged with a hate crime or nothing. He's going to get 3 to 5 years or something like that. Guys, I'm telling you, he needs to go to Gitmo. We need to start treating these terrorists on the streets of America as the terrorists that they are. Especially when they pledge their allegiance to something other than our country. That used to be a serious offense. It's not anymore. And if we keep sitting back here and allowing it to not be anymore, it's going to get even worse. Terrorists inside America plotting attacks each and every single day. This is from the freebeacon.com by Adam Credo. Federal authorities have opened investigations into radical Islamic terrorists in all 50 states, according to the Department of Homeland Security. You know, the next time something happens, and you can follow this back, mark my words, go check it out. Every single Islamic attack that has occurred in the United States of America, the FBI was watching them. And James Comey still has a damn job. Now, if there's something that's not wrong with that, remember Boston? Oh yeah, we had those guys. We knew about their mosque, and yeah, we had Chattanooga. All of them. Every last one of them, including this moron. Hell, he only murdered somebody last week. The Department of Homeland Security, which is warning that the threat of terrorism in the United States has reached an all-time high, with radicalized individuals in the country plotting to strike each and every single day. The FBI has opened terrorist investigations in all 50 states, according to DHS Secretary John Kelly, who disclosed on Tuesday that there have been at least 37 ISIS-linked plots to attack our country since 2013, a number that shows no sign of diminishing. Kelly, in his first wide-ranging public address on the threat of terrorism in America since taking office, warned that America's borders remain wide open and that there is evidence terror-linked individuals are exploiting these national security weaknesses and entering the United States. We don't know their intentions, Kelly said during an address at George Washington University. We don't know why they're here or why they're coming. We are completely blind to what they are capable of. Terrorism also continues to sprout inside American communities across the country, according to Kelly, who said that just in the past year, There have been 36 homegrown terrorist cases in 18 states. We've seen an unprecedented spike in homegrown terrorism, Kelly disclosed. These are the cases we know about. Homegrown terrorism is notoriously difficult to predict and control. Terrorists in the United States are plotting attacks every single day, says Kelly. I tell you, without exaggeration, they try to carry out this mission each and every single day, and no one can tell you how to stop it. No one. I can tell you how to stop it, tell you how to slow it down. If you've got all these lists, if the NSA has all these phone records, start arresting people. Go out with the paddy wagons and start arresting people. Go into Dearborn. Go into Patterson, New Jersey. Go into Minneapolis, St. Paul. Son of a gun, it's not that hard. Go into Cleveland. Now, if a guy can show you that he's a bona fide American-loving Muslim, which I don't know how many of them exist, put him on a polygraph, and if he passes that, let him go. Oh, there's ways to do it. You guys are just too big of pussies to do it. You're afraid of the left. You're afraid of these courts that have amassed way too much power. This is your fault, executive branch. All 100% your fault. If you don't have the backbone to do it, then get out of the job, give it to the Democrats. Let the Democrats let all the Muslims in, and the citizens will take care of them. And we'll take care of you too. At the ballot box, of course. I tell you, I get angry when people. This is a 4-star Marine Corps general that's telling you nobody can do this. It's impossible. And why'd you ask for the job? Why'd you accept the job? If that's the way you feel. If you feel like you're not up to the job, a Marine general officer saying that, coming from the ranks of Marines that took Iwo Jima and Mount Suribachi and Guadalcanal and Tarawa and Okinawa, and you say that we can't do this? Maybe the president made a mistake selecting you. All right. I can't believe that, ladies and gentlemen. I can't. That's something that's not like a Marine. Not like the Marines I know. But that's okay because the Democrats are coming back. They're coming back, and they've got their power player. Their power player is in the dugout, getting ready to come out in the on-deck circle. She was on Variety magazine, as a matter of fact, according to American Thinker and Monica Showalter. Chelsea Clinton, the power of women. Hollywood industry rag Variety has placed Chelsea Clinton on the cover of its The Power of Women. What has Chelsea Clinton ever done in her entire life? She's never done anything. Well, I take that back. She did do one thing. She ratted out the crooks in the Clinton Foundation, which is another thing that I guess we're never going to prosecute that. I guess the most corrupt organization in the history of American politics is not going to get investigated. Please tell me that's not so. Please tell me. If the populations of our prisons don't increase in the next year, I'm opting out of politics, man. I am done. I can't see how it's possible. With all the corruption that's going on, I cannot see how it is possible to not have a nightly perp walk. With all of the collusion, and when I say that, I mean to say that media people need to go to prison too. I look back to that Ferguson event with ABC. I think it was ABC. I'm sorry, ABC, if it was NBC, but it was one of you crooked people. When they changed the video of the white Hispanics' head wound to make it look like it wasn't there, and I saw it the next day in an HD webcam from the garage, and it was a big gash in the dude's head. And they put the other one on, and it's like, how do they get away with this? Nobody went to jail. They sat there and they tried to, well, they did change people's minds. I mean, we were on the verge of a race war, and they were pouring gas on it. It's unbelievable to me. It really is. It's something that, well, we've got Chelsea Clinton, though. She's coming up. So, hey, listen, ladies and gentlemen, the Wayne Dupree program is coming up next. I don't know how that's going to work. We'll see. I guess I got to struggle through it again, but maybe we'll be able to hear the commercials tonight. Anyway, thanks to everybody hanging in there in the chat room, listening live. Thanks to everybody that listens to the podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed the phone system for the short time I had it in there. I'm getting rid of it. Friday or Thursday night will be the last time I use this phone system. Not worth the money, ladies and gentlemen. It's going. Again, thanks to everybody. I'm Hutch Bailey Jr. on Facebook, Berg's Eye View on Twitter. Stay tuned. Wayne Dupree coming up next. I'll be back Thursday night, 8 p.m. Jacob Seals, take us on out of here. God bless.